Have you heard of something called Frass that will feed the plants in your garden? And wondering what it is and why all these gardeners are using it? What is it exactly? Well, today I'm going to explain what is insect frass and why you want to use it to feed the plants in your garden. Actually, I'm going to take that back. More than feeding your plants, it's feeding the microbiology in your soil, and that in turn is feeding your plants. But bottom line, this is an amazing product to use in your garden. It is all natural, and it is more sustainable than a lot of the other plant foods you'll see on the shelf. Insect frass is literally the poop from black soldier fly larvae. There are, you may not know this, but there are insect farms across the country because there is a demand for protein sources for livestock feed. An insect farm has a much lower carbon footprint. These insect farms raise these black soldier fly larvae to use in livestock feed. You'll even see them as an ingredient in your dog treats. One of the byproducts of these insect farms raising this black soldier fly larva is their poop. And the fact is, their poop is this amazing powerhouse plant food. It is a low NPK, and just a reminder, NPK stands for nitrogen, phosphorus, potassium. And you want a low NPK plant food so that your plants can decide what nutrition they want when they want it. So I bet you're thinking, okay, insect poop, it probably doesn't smell great. Well, you would be wrong. And in fact, when I have asked people what they think insect frass smells like, the most common answer is a very earthy, almost brownie batter type smell. So let me show you what it looks like. I'm holding right here a bag of the frass that I sell. I became so enamored with it that I have started the Ever Hopeful Gardener's Kickass frass. And this is the only thing I use to feed my plants in my garden, in my landscape, my house plant, my seedlings, everything. What's great, there's a couple different ways you can use this. You can simply sprinkle it into the soil at planting time. You can amend your beds by scratching some of this insect frass in. You can also mix it with water and create a tea, but don't worry, it's not one of those compost teas that requires adding molasses and an aerator and a certain amount of time. No, you just mix it with water and then you feed it to your plant. Another benefit of using insect frass in your garden for your plants is that when these black soldier fly larvae are molting and shedding their exoskeletons, that gets crushed up and ground up into the insect frass. It contains a compound called chitin. Now, when plants detect chitin, they automatically beef up their defense systems, they thicken their cell walls, they are preparing for an attack. And so it helps your plants resist insect and pest damage. If you're not sold yet, what about the fact that if you use fish or fish and seaweed emulsion, that has like the world's most horrific smell. And if you are starting seedlings indoors like I like to do, then your family is subjected to that horrible smell also. But if you switch to insect frass, there's almost no odor. It smells like brownie batter. Now, let me say this. Here's my little disclaimer. Some dogs have been known to love the smell and taste of insect frass. My dogs leave it alone. They loved fish and seaweed emulsion. Like they were trying to dig and get to that, but they leave this alone. So you'll want to figure out if your dog likes it. My neighbor's dog, when she adds it to her houseplants, she has to move them out of the way for a little bit until it gets watered in. Otherwise, her dogs are digging in her houseplants. So just something to be aware of. But it is all natural, and it is not cause for alarm if your dog is to ingest some of it.